Welcome to another edition of Soccer Over There, live from the Brewhouse Cafe, March 2nd edition. We've got all kinds of chaos, starting with one of our co-hosts, Nick Alifi, who is on the way, not here yet, on the way. It is nasty, nasty weather in Atlanta, Georgia today, and I think it's supposed to be this way the whole week. So get a boat and a kayak and a life vest and bunker in for what's going to be a fun week here, eh?
I would think so.
Yeah, lovely. We've got lots of stuff to talk about today. Liverpool lost for the first time in forever. I have to get into that. The Italian Calcio kind of crisis, or crises, crises, that's what I thought. Lots of stuff going on with some divisions playing, some not. It's just, I don't know who's making these decisions. For those of you listening at home on the app, you'll notice that it sounds like a bootleg recording. Welcome to Bootleg City. These things happen when you take a trip to Nashville and everything gets out of whack with your travel bag and your live event bag, and you forget things that are needed to connect to get better audio. So we would do our best to project for those of you at home. Sorry about that. I apologize. It's all me. Let's talk about something that is also wacky in the world of soccer, and it's the Argentine First Division, Argentine Football Association, Superliga. It's actually the AFA this time.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
The AFA has decided, with 1 week left in the Superliga season and a Copa de la Superliga to come, which is 11 games, which counts for relegation, they have decided to change the number of relegation places from 3 to 2, and the third team, so the highest of these three, goes into a playoff. Golazo Argentino sums it up as saying, even by Argentine football standards, the AFA's decision to change the number of relegation places from 3 to 2 is daft. It is made by the AFA. That's who made this decision. It has to pass the Superliga committee, and Daniel Edwards of Goal.com, who follows the league very closely, said that the Superliga committee is made up of 24 clubs that hate Superliga, so it's as good as done. Yeah. So, you're going to keep 24 teams. The idea for a while, when Argentina lost its mind when River Plate was relegated, 4 or 5 years ago, was, all right, we're never going to have this happen again. Let's have the first division be 30 teams. And then they realized, well, this is maybe a little complicated with the formats we're trying to do, not like what MLS is doing as they go to 30. This is just make up a new format each season, do a home and away, then just do a split season, do an Apertura Clausura. They've done it all, and they've probably done it all in the last 4 seasons. Well, it's not working. And now they've decided, instead of going all the way back down to 20, which was the original idea, to hold that. So they were going to go 3 and 3, 3 up, 3 down.
Okay.
And now they're like, wait a minute, not quite. Let's do 2 down, and let's do a playoff with the third team, so they might not go down. Well, Black Helicopter himself, Nick Alifi, just walked in, so it's kind of good timing that this could maybe, possibly, somewhat. No, I don't know about probably, because they're still getting relegated right now. There's no probably here. Stop the nonsense. Stop making up lies. What the possibly part is, well, Ignacia and Diego Maradona are in the midst of this. And this gives them one more possible out. So the way the relegation series, the Promedios, is set up right now, Ignacia is going down. Colón and Patronato are completely level on 82 points through 74 matches. It's over 3 seasons. 1.108 points per game. So I think they have a playoff to decide who goes into the playoff, because Argentina loves playoffs.
Is this the thing to the nearest integer? Was that what you were talking about?
It does. Don't make it more confusing for people. If it's level, it's level, and they would be completely level. There's no integers needed. So I think they have a playoff to see who goes into the playoff. Because Argentina doesn't believe in goal differential mattering for anything. They just go into playoffs, which could happen for the title. We'll get to that in a second. So Cologne and Patronato level, one will go down, one will go into a playoff. Aldo Civi is just barely ahead of that. Central Cordoba is barely ahead of that. They've only got one season of results, so if they go on a bad stretch here in the Copa de la Superliga, they're in big trouble. But Gimnasia is close. They are 3 points behind Cologne and Patronato, the teams that are level, with one of them going into a playoff as opposed to getting relegated. Because Gimnasia has been actually somewhat respectable under Diego Maradona. Which, I mean, I'd hate to see who was there before and what they think about things these days, but Gimnasia is not at the bottom of the table. They are 19th out of 24. They've won 6 games under Diego. I can't remember how many losses they had before they fired the guy before Diego. Strangely enough, they are level on goal differential as well. At 6-11-5, they are somehow 22 goals conceded, which is really good defensively for a team that low in the table, but they've only scored 22 goals. So really strange things in Argentina, which is no surprise if you follow Argentine soccer. Now, the thing at the top of the table that could get really interesting, our good friends Defensa y Justicia, they threw a wrench into the title chase of River Plate. They got a draw. Lucero with a goal in the 23rd. Juan Fernando Quintero equalized with a penalty in the 64th. So the River Plate title train was derailed just a bit. Now River can still win it with a win in the final weekend of Superliga, which is this upcoming weekend. And these games, River and Boca will play at the same time on Saturday night. So if River wins, they win the title. No questions asked. If they draw, Boca has to win to lead the title. There's no chance of a tie. If River loses and Boca draws, then they go to a playoff. That's not likely. Don't start grinning and getting black helicopters and tinfoil hats and a bunch of nonsense, because you're asking River to lose at Atletico Tucumán, who is in 14th place. And you're asking Boca to only get a draw against our good friends Gimnasia de la Plata and Diego Maradona, which this is Diego's return to La Bombonera as a manager of the opposition.
All right.
Here we go.
You're not going to get a loss and a draw to get a playoff. Because nobody in Argentina wants this playoff. Because I don't know when the last time, like the playoffs are usually neutral site, both teams' fans are there, all that stuff. You haven't had a match with Boca and Rivers fans in the same building in probably decades. So you're either going to have this playoff match in Madagascar, or have it behind closed doors, or have the military take up half of the stadium and have the sections on either side and cross your fingers and hope the stadium doesn't implode.
Our boy Diego has a chance, right?
To stay up, yeah.
Now, did they just alter the rules seemingly to provide that extra shot to?
But he would need to win, and that would eliminate Boca.
Okay.
No, that would eliminate Boca. That doesn't get your playoff. He was grinning over here in the Lansing Ignite shirt about a playoff possibility, and that's the least likely thing
Because I was
that can happen.
waiting for Nick Alifi's response, though.
All I'm saying is,
No,
some
and
time
Nastia
ago,
winning? I'm not surprised.
some time ago, your boy here, wearing the throwback Nike N90 track top.
Yeah, seriously, that's from like 1998.
That's right.
Nicely done.
It's beautiful, it's luxurious, and I love it. Somebody said, if I recall correctly,
It's not done
Argentina
yet.
is not going to let him get relegated. They're
It's
not going to
not
let.
done
And what
yet.
happened? They changed the rules magically out of left field,
Well,
delivered by
no,
black helicopters and people with aluminum foil hats.
Hold on a second. You are saying that like Argentina doesn't change the rules willy-nilly every 5 minutes because somebody had an extra bit of mate one day, and then the next day they had too much Fernet y Coca, and they decided to have 40 teams in the Super League.
All I'm suggesting is that they will give national hero and somewhat frequent offender Diego Maradona at every opportunity humanly available to keep Ignacio up, or to allow him to go out on his shield in such a way that he would be able to save face. I understand.
Yeah, that part's a whole different thing. Let's separate these two real quick.
Okay.
The title is a whole different conversation
Sure.
than River and Boca.
Sure.
No, it is.
No, that's fine.
It has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Gimnasia is playing Boca. If Argentina, which, if you look back at the history of the AFA, a lot of people think Boca is favored in general. So I don't think they're going to screw them here and have Gimnasia win somehow, because then you're getting into a whole different thing. I know you're Italian, but come on.
You know, look, hey, all I'm
draw some
suggesting is that
These are two separate issues.
there is a legendary wrestler whose famous catchphrase was,
He is.
"Every man has a price."
But yes, again, you guys are incorrect. River doesn't have the money to do that. Boca does. So Boca's not going to get screwed. They can meet any price.
There are people who have money outside of those two organizations who I'm sure would be willing to front a little bit of cash.
But no. Okay. Look, I know you guys. Look, this is getting stupid. I know you guys like this nonsense with black helicopters and
They
tinfoil
changed
hats.
the rules again.
Yes, but you're mixing up two things. Let me go back and make this abundantly clear. There is a title chase between two teams, River Plate and Boca. River wins, they win the title. They draw, Boca's got to win the title. If River loses and Boca wins the title. If River loses and Boca draws, they have a playoff. That's the title side of it.
Okay.
That's separate.
Sure.
Why are you questioning that being separate from the relegation side?
I'm not-
That's the top of the table.
But all I'm saying is, I have said and I will maintain.
You're just tinfoil hatting it all day today.
When it comes to Diego Maradona and Argentina, yes.
Sure, but I'm talking about the title chase. Leave the title chase
Okay,
out.
all right.
Now, the only thing that's affecting that, and again, this is not the last day for relegation either. They have a whole nother Copa de la Superliga with 11 games that will go into this.
I imagine that's probably where you will see some magic happen.
It's very possible because Tigre won the thing recently, and
Right.
Tigre got relegated after winning the Copa de la Superliga, and then they couldn't go to the Copa Libertadores because, welcome to Argentine chaos, which is why I question the black helicopter theory, because when it's always chaos, it's not as easy to determine when it's a tinfoil hat bit of chaos and when it's just drunken stupidity.
I will buy the fact that there are two completely separate issues at hand here.
Yes.
I will gladly accept that. I will also state for the record, John, if you could please put into the SDHSOT record that
Mark the tape.
when this particular issue popped up and the rule change happened, that I laughed maniacally
Oh yeah, that happened.
at home, realizing that treachery was afoot. That's all I'm saying.
Strange
Treachery.
things are afoot at the Circle K.
That's correct.
They don't have Circle K's in Argentina. I don't think.
Whatever is the brand du jour of convenience store for Argentina, treachery is afoot, good sir. That's all I'm saying.
It's just always afoot, though.
It is, but that's what makes Argentina so interesting.
That's one way to put it.
Obviously, can it go sideways and become toxic and destructive? Absolutely.
A little bit.
But at the same time, one has to accept the fact that a little bit of blankhousery allows for it certainly to be a must-watch television. And Defensa Justicia forever.
Yeah, I don't think the black helicopter theories are going to affect the title. River should go to Tucumán, and they should be able to win that. They're playing a 14th place team. Now, they do have to go on the road. It's a team in Tucumán that's incredibly average, 7-8-7. 21 goals scored in 22 matches. They only conceded 24. But River should be able to take care of business. If they don't, then you get the potential for weirdness all the way around, because it's Boca hosting Gimnasia and Diego Maradona. You got the one thing that I think you leave out sometimes of the conspiracy theory side is, yes, Diego is beloved by many. He is also despised by many.
Right, sure.
So it's not completely simple. And that's what makes this Boca and Nacia match really weird. Hopefully, what happens is River just wins the match and wins the title, so we don't have any complete strangeness. Because I would be more worried, and I think you're going the other way, like Ignacia getting wins to boost their number. I would be worried about Diego and Ignacia throwing the match so Boca could win the title.
This is also, look, I believe that we could have an arms race of underground spending. And it's just a matter of who's going to spend the most money.
So here's the table in, hey, or like the Gilbert Gottfried moment in Beverly Hills Cop, where he's kind of sitting there looking at the parking ticket and going, in this hand I've got the parking ticket, and then over here there's something else, and then all of a sudden you don't know where the parking ticket went, and it just kind of goes away.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. We'll go with another 80s reference, and Cameron at Ferris Bueller's Day Off at the Stock Exchange, making all the weird hand motions. Like, yeah, it could happen. And then people are looking and nodding silently, like, yes, I'll take that, okay, yeah. And stranger things have happened, Jason. We're seeing some strange things afoot, and I enjoy thoroughly any opportunity to bring these little interesting tidbits to the forefront, especially after someone has brought them forth to the audience for their listening pleasure, and having been roundly, just openly dumped upon by you, sir. And yet this is happening.
You just like extending your index finger from your free hand.
Full extension. I'm extending it as far as I can.
And moving it to be your left.
That is correct.
And hitting someone sitting next to you in the rib cage with said index finger.
Between rib 4 and 5.
Okay.
It's the arm is moving back and forth in a subtle motion to ensure that the fingernail gets right there between rib 4 and 5.
Here's the other little thing about this proposal of the change. Yeah, there's more.
And we're walking.
So last time, in the current season, you're playing everybody in the league once. So you're playing 23 matches. Then they decided that that's kind of short for a championship, and they should probably have this made-up Copa de la Superliga and not do it as a cup, but do it as a mini league, so everybody gets 34 matches. Yeah, that's right. 23 plus 11. Everybody's guaranteed at 34. Well, they decided that's kind of dumb too, because it is kind of dumb. It's pretty stupid. So next season, it's going to be 2 short seasons.
2 short seasons.
So you have the Apertura and the Clausura. That's typical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does an Apertura and Clausura of 23 games apiece. So you're going to play 46 games over the Apertura and the Clausura, plus your Copa Argentina, plus your teams that are in the Sudamericana and Libertadores. You're about to turn into Brazil in some ways.
They turn themselves into the Sky Bet Championship.
Essentially, except you're going to have more teams playing in, think Sky Bet Championship, but with about 8 to 10 teams playing continental competition on top of it. Absolute, utter chaos.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Can you have roster expansion? Can we
I don't think they have such a thing as like roster limits. I think it's just like you can put on the shirt, you can sign your name. Okay, cool, you're on the roster. Go play.
That's probably what's needed at this point.
Slightly.
You should almost have like a full B team just ready to go.
Oh, they do. And they do. And I mean, you've got some of these teams like Independiente, for example, when Ezequiel Barco broke through, he was in like the 5th or 6th level of the reserve/academy, and then jumped all the way to the first team. So you've got level upon level upon level upon level, and I think a reserve team that is actually separate from it. It's chaos.
I love Argentina so much.
It's great. It's just, it always changes. You think you understand what they're doing? Nah.
Gives us content every week.
It does. And shout out to Gustavo, who's hanging out down in Argentina. Much love to him, as always, for providing us with exceptional tidbits and context to certain situations that we would be robbed of otherwise. So, Gustavo, you are a fine Argentine citizen, sir, and we appreciate your services.
It is madness.
It's Charles.
It is absolute, utter madness. So, yeah, the big result from the weekend in Argentina was River 1-1 with the glorious Defensa y Justicia. It's a good result for Defensa. They have been killing it lately with Hernan Crespo.
I was watching it on Fanati's from the press box at Nissan Stadium.
People were probably looking at you like, what the?
Hey, look, my boy Crespo's in there. He's handling business. Obviously, he's not Kurt Cobain, a.k.a. Sebastian Beccacheche. However,
He's true.
I will say that our man's doing great things. Defensa on the rise yet again. If you do not have an Argentine squad, why go and just get a River or a Boca kid like everyone else does? Just take a look down that table.
See, this is what's amazing about our boys.
That's
Our
right.
boys.
Our boys. Adopt.
Boca, River, the Giants, the Grandes, right? I mean,
Correct.
they're the big boys. So Boca, over the last 3 years, has been the best. They've got the most points. River's third. Racing, great club, huge club, big club. Number 2. Vélez, big club. One of the big clubs of Buenos Aires. They're number 5. Independiente, number 6. Who's number 4 over the last 3 years? Our boys. Defensa y
That is correct.
Justicia.
And anytime I talk to someone who's familiar with the Superliga, and they're like, "Well, which team do you?"
They're like, what are you talking
And
about?
that's exactly what happens. It's like it's Defensa y Justicia. They're like, "Oh my God, that's a small club." Wow.
Yeah.
But
But
our boys,
our boys.
tomorrow night,
Uh-oh.
it is a big game
On Fanati's.
as Santos comes to town.
That's right.
Como
Where are you
Libertadores
gonna be?
debut.
Where are you going to be when Defensa y Justicia takes on the mighty Santos?
on you, brother.
Yeah, I'm just saying that this is something that you may want to go ahead and get your DVRs dialed up. Get anything you have dialed up if you can't watch this game, because our adopted large adult sons are going to be handling business.
I hope they are.
I believe in DYJ.
I really hope they are. It is a match that kicks off at 5:15 Eastern time.
There you go.
I think that's 7:15 local time in Argentina. I think that's right. 5:15 is on BN Sports, so you can watch that through Fubo TV. You can watch that with our boys Fanatis. Defensa y Santos in the Libertadores debut. That's going to be exciting.
I'm just thrilled that they are on the way back. Because I was afraid for a moment, guys, that my fandom had somehow caused a shift in galactic alignment, which caused them to drop down the ranks.
It might have.
And now it seems to have been sorted and righted. So I'm very pleased by this.
Yeah, I mean, Hernan Crespo comes in and rights the ship. It's been very good for the boys' Defensa. Now, you want to get into your little Mondays with Reddit?
Let's go.
With Reddit.
Okay, let's see what we got on the Reddit today.
Did you ever find out while he's looking at what's going on with Reddit? Have you ever figured out how much it's going to cost us to be a sponsor?
I've not found that out. That's something that I absolutely must find out, though, because I believe, unlike our friend Mr. Longshore here, I believe, John, that we can afford it, or we can produce enough video content to make that happen. We can stream enough video to put, even if it's like a quarter-size logo, if we can get that and blow it up so it's a nice blurry image.
Yeah, it's got to be like that.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're going to do it, it's got to be like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have apparently 4 separate categories. You can either do it on the web, you can do it in the stadium,
Uh-huh.
and then you can do the dreaded other, which is one of the other 2.
Ooh.
So
We're down with other.
We're down with other.
You have Indumentaria and Otro.
Other's just like a banner hanging somewhere in the stadium. Down with that.
That could be that would be something. That if you were watching BN and it's Copa Libertadores and Defensa y Justicia and somebody's watching like, okay, these guys will not shut up about this stupid team. What do we got? Wait, hold up. That's the SDH logo? Yeah, that's right. International.
That's us.
That's us.
That's true.
We're going to move to make things happen. But what we need is people to buy these wonderful hats
there you go.
that
Yes.
Jason's wearing right now. It's sucked
true.
on your hat. It's a trucker style hat, which means that summer, as we know,
Yes.
starts about mid-April here
At
in Atlanta.
At some point it will start.
Earlier in February.
Yeah, earlier in February.
Maybe. And then it goes away, and then it comes back, and it goes away, and then I just get sick.
That's right. So instead of just having the standard stylish scarf, which we still have,
Yes.
in diminished quantities,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, it's running low.
Yeah, it's
The
running low.
beanie's running really low.
Yeah, the beanie's incredible, but the trucker hat that we have here is, without question, I've worn this thing several times, and like you, I am follically. We've taken steps to ensure our aerodynamic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Take those steps on a regular basis.
Yeah. Look,
understand where you're going.
we are built for speed, John.
True.
We shave our heads.
Aerodynamically efficient.
When I dive in the pool at LA Fitness, I want to make sure that I have zero resistance. So the hair had to go. It just had to happen. But the trucker hat, I'm telling you, provides a nice little area and breathability that my standard hat doesn't have. And what is this lovely hat going for right now?
$25.
Wow! And it is right within the price point. I love it.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. If you want one, send us a message. We'll get you taken care of. All right. Here's your Mondays with Reddit.
Mondays with Reddit.
You remember our amigo Neil Critchley? Neil Critchley, the Liverpool U23 manager, who was in charge of some big games for Liverpool.
Correct.
He gone.
Wow.
He left to become the new head coach at Blackpool.
Oh,
Good for him.
no.
Yeah, something good came out of Jurgen Klopp.
Coach Blackpool.
You're not going to see any action outside of a day when Jurgen Klopp wants to go chill on the
Goes
beach.
To the beach.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
I'm going to go to the beach. I'll see you later. And then the coach steps in. He leads his team to victory. And then what? You're back down? No,
Okay,
forget
this
that.
is the Brent Venables scenario.
Okay.
Do you want to be in college football? Do you want to be one of the highly paid coordinators and be a number 2, or do you want to be a number 1 someplace else? This has got to be the test of being the number 2 or the number 1 for Critch.
I mean, but it's not even that, because Critch is with the U23s, and nobody knows about the U23s. It's not even like he's the assistant for the first team.
There was a John Travolta sequel to Saturday Night Fever called "Staying Alive," and the hit song from that
Was awful.
was "Look Out for Number One." And that's what I always want to be, baby. I always want to be number
That's
one.
the reference you go with?
Get me the number 1 job, and if it starts off at Blackpool, I will take the Blackpool gig, and I will turn it into something. I know the name Ian Holloway because of Blackpool.
True.
Because when he went on television and started ranting about being the manager of Blackpool, and he led them on this wild little run.
He ranted a lot, too.
He did rant a lot.
That was fun.
But I know the name Ian Holloway because of Blackpool. So take that gig, my man. Make something of it.
So that's the one good thing that it came out of the complete and utter disrespect for the FA Cup from Liverpool.
Yes.
Neil Critchley gets a better job.
Good
He's
for
not with
him.
the U23s. He is a first-team manager now.
Good.
Good for him.
I'm happy something came of it.
All right, here's another bit from Mondays with Reddit.
Mondays with Reddit.
9 Galway United players were treated for hypothermia, and 1 Shamrock Rovers 2 player was taken to hospital for suspected frostbite after their League of Ireland First Division game on Saturday.
You run out of Texas game, or?
I don't know what was going on with this.
That's just not right.
No, that is not good. The headline in the newspaper is "Freezing Hell. Players treated by medics for hypothermia."
I would have said hell froze over, but yeah, okay.
They ran out of space. They didn't have that much room. Can we have called the thing off?
Well,
You'd think.
if your players, frostbite is not instantaneous. All right, there's nothing instantaneous about frostbite unless you're like down in Antarctica and because of climate change. That's up for debate at the moment. So, outside of some sci-fi situation where like some magic, freak atmospheric hole from space arrived, you're not being frozen instantaneously, which meant these poor kids had to sit there and suffer through this. And there's someone's failure, right? Someone has failed along the line, meaning that, first of all, yes, the match should have been canceled if it was too cold. But how many kids came off?
9.
9 on
kids.
one team, 1 on the other. Players were throwing up at halftime.
Right.
Players were throwing up after the game.
No.
Bullshit story.
It's crazy.
You've got to cancel it. And the fact that somebody didn't say, I guarantee you, along the line, probably in mid-level management, said, guys, I think we probably need to go ahead and cancel this game. It just doesn't really seem...
Good character building thing.
And it's right. Someone right above them was like, no, we can't take this to anybody. We can't tell anyone.
What was it temperature?
That's what somebody tweeted and said. At least 30 degrees below 0 Celsius is a dry cold. If it's that cold,
It's never been that cold.
Yeah, that is. I don't know.
Never ever been that cold.
I'm assuming that might be exaggerating a little bit.
So it's a minus 30 Celsius.
But
Yeah, I'm assuming that's exaggeration. That is not. That is not.
Probably about minus
that-
20 Celsius. Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Because doing my quick math, minus 30, double it minus 6. Yeah, that's like minus 30 is minus 30. It's the same centigrade and Fahrenheit.
No, it's 42.
Yeah.
But if kids are throwing up, if you have more than like 2 kids who are chucking up at halftime, especially
So the game was held during Storm Jorge in spite of heavy rain, wind gusts up to 120 kilometers per hour, and freezing cold conditions. Players had to be subbed off because they were vomiting or getting lightheaded, and some spent the rest of the day vomiting due to the conditions.
Okay, especially with coronavirus going around,
Jeez.
the first kid that throws up in this
I'm
day
out.
and age, I'm walking off the field. I'm walking off.
On.
Okay, have any of you kids been in any of these parts of the world? I'm going to list some names. No, we're canceling the game. We're out of here. Thank you. Good night. It's done. It's a
Okay,
wrap.
so how fast was the wind?
Gusts up to 120 kilometers per hour.
That's like 80 miles an hour.
How much money did you make off this game?
Who was in the building?
Yeah, okay, how many fans are going to be that nuclear?
Parents.
They can eat one.
If it's 80 miles an hour, the kids are blowing away. They're dying from
That's right.
blown away.
Could you imagine the English on the ball off a set piece?
Oh, forget it.
Launching the ball out of the back.
Man, I'm gonna have to read into this one a little bit more because this is chaos.
This is.
It was front page news in. Let me see if I can figure out the paper.
It's not like they all got frostbite at the same time, right? I mean, like I'm sure there was some kid who doubled up their socks or something who didn't get frostbite right
I'm
away.
going to check and see if there's any videos.
Front page in the Irish Daily Star, which is legit. It's a real paper.
Right. What was the name of the team?
It was Galway United and Shamrock Rovers 2.
Galway United.
That is absolutely.
Yeah.
If
You know that there are a bunch of spoof papers in the UK.
It's true. This one doesn't appear to be one.
we are being told that there are spoof papers in the UK for those who could not hear, which we are working to.
There's a lot of different people responding to it that have been following it. So if it's a spoof, it's a really good one. There could be some exaggeration going on things for sure. Man.
Tipperary Hoops on Twitter. Best wishes to Cole Omori Hielman, who was taken to hospital after Shamrock Rover 2's 1-1 draw. Cole was brought to hospital after showing signs of frostbite. We send our best wishes to him, and hopefully he recovers quickly. Hashtag Rovers 2020.
Well, that was
I'm
very
pulling
nice.
my kid off the field. I will walk past security, and I will use any jiu-jitsu techniques that I know to choke hold any coach or manager who's keeping my kid on the field, and we're getting out of it.
It's a bit like AC Milan a couple of weeks ago in the second half against Inter.
Why are you doing this to me?
Oh.
why
Oh, man.
I thank you. Good night. Good night.
That's
I'm out.
what I'm talking about. I like it. I like it.
I'm out of here. Shots fired.
And good evening.
Please send an ambulance to retrieve me, my personal being, from the Brewhouse Cafe right now.
I'm wondering how many scouts were on hand for a match in Norway. A player by the name of Albert Brot Sjaland made a senior debut, 16 years old. Senior debut on Saturday for Bryn FK. You know, he's the 16-year-old cousin of one Erling Brot Holland.
Showing Nick a photo of the corner flag. Thank you. Good save.
Yeah, the corner flag side. I mean, I've seen corner flag sideways, but I haven't seen anybody walk off the field.
That looks like a mighty empty stadium there.
Yeah, probably not a lot of cover. 16-year-old cousin of Erling Brot Holland made his senior debut. Probably a few people checking him out.
Yeah, sure.
Probably a few scouts.
I would imagine so.
You know.
You gotta show up, man. If you want to make money, you gotta find them early.
Could be special. All right, we've got a little incident in the Champions League brewing.
Oh, here we go.
Valencia, consider banning 2,377 Atalanta fans who already bought tickets from entering the Mestalla, despite the threat of UEFA sanctions.
Okay, now hold on. Is this because Atalanta ultras are notoriously rough, or is this coronavirus?
This is coronavirus.
Okay. All right. I have zero issues with any travel bans that are happening right now because of this. I have zero issues with it.
4 Valencia fans were placed in self-isolation by the regional government after reporting symptoms of the virus following their trip for the first leg in Atalanta.
Right. No, I have. This is. I have to really, really be careful with how I put this. There are some people who keep saying, "Oh, this is media manufactured. There's nothing to this. It's not bad." Hey, look. People are dying because of this.
Yeah.
It's not just, and they say, well, it's the old folks. Okay, well, great. When it's your grandma or grandpa who are catching coronavirus, please feel free to at me on Twitter and tell me how this is still a media creation. They do have 19 and 20-year-old kids who are in intensive care right now in Italy as a result of this. And in Italy, they are making regional travel bans, which is obviously not helping the social situation that much. But Milan supporters, anyone from Milan is not allowed to travel to Juve. They're banning it. They are double checking anyone who has tickets who purchased from outside the Piedmont. And if you are not from Turin or from the Piedmont, you're not able to go. And guess what? Juve is not refunding your money per a statement issued. You better find someone in Piedmont to buy that ticket. So it's the travel bans. This is just beginning, and what you may see is a slight die-off of this, and just buckle up for next fall, because this isn't going away anytime soon. There seems to be a high reinfection rate with this virus, and as a result of that, you may see a die-off, or it sort of, the flare-up happens in a different part of the world, and then magically pops back up where it was. No, I have no issue with travel bans. And if UEFA wants to get angry about it, UEFA can get angry about it. You have a responsibility to your community first, and then beyond that, the globe as a whole, because these people get on planes. It's not like they go to the stadium, don't touch, every surface of that stadium, and go to the concessions, get whatever, and then just go home and just go dormant for the next week. No, they have a life. They go to the office, they take their kids to school, they get on a plane, they fly somewhere else. Man, do what you got to do. I'm not in Spain. I can't make that call. But if somebody in Spain knows the situation on the ground and makes that call, have at it.
It's a mess. I mean, I don't know.
Well, first of all, Italy is screwing up left, right, and center on this. As much from a sporting perspective.
Yeah.
Because you have two separate groups of people who are vying for the hearts and minds. You have the people who are paying out, which is the federal government right now. They are actively hunting the coronavirus, people who are affected by it. And then they are also trying to navigate the fact that this is the beginning of tourist season. And the local municipalities are freaking out. You have people who are in Venice who are friends of my family, and you're starting to see a lot of resentment because they don't understand that the travel advisories have been issued here in the U.S., and they're saying, well, all the Americans are just scared to come here, and why should we welcome the Americans back if they're leaving us high and dry in our time of need? But you have Serie B games that have taken place, Serie A games that have taken place.
What's the Federation doing? Why are they not making big decisions across the board?
Because there's too much money. There's just too much money, and you have teams that, if they have to play games behind closed doors, they lose gate rev.
Right.
And if they lose gate rev for 2, 3, 4, 5 games, that they can't absorb that financial hit. The TV money's just not good enough like it is in the Prem. There's just not enough money for some of these teams that are already in financial peril. They have to have butts in seats. And then you also have, as we have spoken about many times, there's that secondary economy that surrounds the teams as well.
Right.
Ultra groups and, the things that they sell to, the ticket markups and whatnot. All that's gone. That entire market has evaporated with this.
Yeah.
So they have to make money any way they can. So you're starting to see teams that are trying to open up the stadiums.
Well, there's a proposal on the table now that the games postponed last weekend would be played next weekend, March 7th and 8th, with Juve Inter played on Monday the 9th.
That's moronic. They were talking about doing it in May. And that to me made sense, right? That
Right.
gives you plenty of time to make adjustments. You still have towns that are just now coming out of quarantine. Just now. Why in the world would you just be like, oh yeah, sure, let's open this whole thing up again? Because, why not?
Sure.
And you still have level 3 travel restrictions from the U.S., so the Piedmont, Lombardy, and Veneto are still not going to be visited by Americans en masse.
So what they're saying is the 26th day of the championship, so it's that weekend from, I guess, a couple weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
That would be played in this upcoming weekend. The consequent postponement of all the other days, or I guess that set of games, would be moved to May. So instead of moving the week that has been postponed to the back end, they're going to move it to now and move that week to the back end because Juve and Inter, I'm assuming it's because of that game.
Yeah.
They want to get it back with a bang.
But again, you're solving the money issue with that.
Right.
You're solving the financial issue, but you're not solving the global pandemic issue with that.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, but you have a league that, with people who are saying that there's nothing wrong. You have regional governments that are saying nothing is wrong here. Come and visit. And then the federal government says we have to take these extraordinary measures to shut things down and to protect the populace and protect Europe and the globe as a whole. And so then you have the regions push back and say, how are we supposed to tell the world that everything's okay here to get the tourists back so our economy can get back underway when you're telling everyone, shut everything down, barricade, block up, put the carabinieri to block the streets into these towns, and kick everyone out of the stadiums? You're sending two radically different messages. And so it sounds like some of the money people are starting to win as plaudits have been handed out to Italy because they have been able to isolate the strain. They have taken dramatic steps, which are very, very rapidly, which is very unlike Italy for anything.
True.
But you have two different messages now, and it's terrifying.
It's getting really complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Because now you've got UEFA, according to L'Equipe, saying they would rather play Champions League matches with empty seats than reschedule Champions League matches.
Because the television money is
Right.
completely different.
Right.
Yeah. So again, the television money, UEFA could say, "Yep, absolutely, no big deal. Go in there and play." That is like a drop of water in the ocean to us. We don't care. Have a great time playing in front of an empty stadium.
Mm-hmm.
However, for the municipalities, you get officially nothing except a taxation of your social services. You have to have cops readily available because ultras still will show up outside the stadium even if they're not allowed in. You have to have cops there to disperse them. If anything happens, you have to have ambulatory services readily available. So it's a drain on the local economy, which is why the regional governments and the municipalities are pushing back.
So walk everybody through, because I'm reading this right now about the decision to play behind closed doors, and then after it had been decided to do that, it says 10 hours before the games were postponed.
Right.
Why was it so all over the place with, we're not going to play, we're going to play behind closed doors, now we're not going to play at all? But.
Right. You have, Italy is in a unique position in that they were not expecting the flare-up to hit as hard as it did. They were not. And when you go from Italy, everyone was in the prep mode for Holy Week and the prep mode for the lead into tourist season. Serie A was finally starting to deal with issues with with racism and just now starting to get some sort of positive traction, right? They have the competitive race. Everything was coming up aces after botch after botch after botch after black eye after black eye. The problem was China's problem. And this is where Italy sort of gets itself in trouble, is because sometimes they look at the rest of the world and go, hey, that's a whole lot of your problem over there. That's not our problem. Mm-hmm. And then it went from being their problem to our problem overnight. And as a result of that, when the airlines started issuing cancellations, like Delta said, we are not flying into Milan at all. We are canceling all flights to and from Milan. Wrap.
Yep.
When the airlines got involved, and then they started refunding, they started canceling allowing cancellations of itineraries. They started allowing refunds or, the ability to move your itinerary. Italy started realizing very quickly because I have no problem in saying the Italian news has been going at my house pretty much nonstop.
It should.
Yeah, and so my poor cousins are getting absolutely tired of hearing from me at this point. But one thing that they kept saying was they had a ticker at the bottom that talked about the dip in tourism from people who would show up because they're not only expecting standard tourists but religious pilgrims. They weren't showing up. And that economy, because it's a lot of mom and pop shops, not just the large corporations that are they feel that impact immediately. And when they feel the impact immediately, then they reach out to the city government and say, hey, we need help. We're not going to make the bills this month. So very quickly, this went up the flagpole. There's a 5-alarm fire. Italy said, hold up, from a global perspective, we're getting hammered down. Because if we become the launching point for a global pandemic,
right.
Not Japan, not South Korea, even though they were getting hit with it,
right.
If we're the ones who, because of the way that the EU set up, if people in Switzerland start getting it, and Romania start getting it, France, Spain, and the common denominator is Italy, we are done for. That we will not be able to survive that hit because people won't want to come back because we were the typhoid Mary of this whole situation. They made a jerk call and a knee-jerk call rather, and they canceled the games. And so, obviously, looking back, they may have made a different call. I think it was the right call, but now they're doing the obvious overreaction, overcorrection,
right,
and allowing people back in the stadiums. Even if you do it from a regional basis, we only sell tickets to people from Veneto. We only sell tickets to people from Piedmont or Lombardy. This has disaster written all over it. I really hope I'm wrong, but I don't think you can overreact enough in this situation. But I hope I'm wrong.
I was going to give you a break, but since we're on Italy,
yeah.
What's going on with your Milan squad?
Well, there's a bit of drama at the moment. Boban gave an unregulated interview. And you have some of the old pros who are coming back in to the teams. And Maldini was one where for a long time Maldini wanted nothing to do with Milan because it was a mess. Mm-hmm. The fan base kept screaming for him, Maldini, we need your leadership. Please go in there and sort this, because he was the only one with the cachet who could come in and say, what you're doing is wrong and stupid. It's time to get sorted. And he just couldn't be thrown out. But the problem is with Boban, when he came out and started talking about the rebuild under Elliott and things like that, no one gave him permission to give that interview. Nobody gave him the green light on what he could and couldn't talk about. And what Maldini and Boban are both figuring out is Elliott is a corporation. And if you go and you give, for my 9 to 5, every year we have to do compliance training. And that compliance training, one of the key things is if you go out and you give an interview about the subject matter that we cover, without our permission, you're out. You're gone. And so Boban is they are currently in a power struggle with Gazidis, and there's not just the managerial search. Milan and Maldini want one character, Gazidis wants another. You're talking about a philosophy switch as well? They're going to be gone.
Yeah, it sounds like Gazidis is the whole Ralph Rangnick thing. It's Gazidis who's wanting that to happen and go down that road.
I had heard it was the Maldini. It was Maldini Boban, but I mean, it's either way. You're talking about you're getting massively different stories from this, but the issue is that Maldini is about to be pushed out,
right?
And if he's not pushed out, the situation will be made so he wants to leave.
Yeah,
and you're talking about the fight for the soul of a club now, where Maldini and Boban want what's good for AC Milan from a soccer perspective. Like, hey, we are legends. We are the Rossoneri. We are a team that is, we were giants. We should get back there. And then you have a guy in Gazidis who's notorious for, we're going to do this on a budget. We don't have to go out and spend X, hundreds of millions on transfers. Mm-hmm. We're going to build this thing our way, and we're going to do it and be competitive on a revenue-controlled, basis. And it's not. This is a fight that no one's going to win, because Elliot's goal. They are a vulture fund. Their job is to come in and buy an asset when it is almost at rock bottom. Remove the parts that are for not working or inefficient, make it profitable, and then sell it for an absurd markup. That is their mission in life. Their job is not to have Milan win Champions Leagues. Their job is not to have Milan be internationally recognized giants. Profitability. End of day. And so that's not something where Maldini's going to make a lot of sense to that organization. And it's extraordinarily sad because Milan has burned through so many greats since the firing of Allegri. And who wants to come back now?
Right.
What ties do we have? There's no Ole Gunnar Solskjaer waiting in the wings who's going to come guide us to relevance. I mean, you could go and say, well, sure, let's get Carlo. We'll call Carlo. Carlo's going to make things right.
I think he's got red carded in England.
Yeah, he did.
And at the FA, wagged their finger at it, too.
But you're not going to, Carlo's not going to come back to this. Who's going to come back? You'll have to get somebody like Ralph Ragnick to come in because
it's Sky Italia that's saying that Gazidis would bring in his own directors with Rangnick almost certainly on the Milan bench.
Yeah, well, there you go. So if Sky's reporting, I'll agree we'll roll with that. But you're looking at, as you discussed, the Red Bull system coming in. That's almost like going to the triple option, right? It's not easy to get away from once you get in there.
Nope.
And you can get. I can go get Paolo and Mario and myself and throw us into midfield with this system, and we may be competitive, but at the end of the day, you're not getting away from it anytime soon. And
it's a money ball system.
It is. It's a money ball system, and Milan should not be a money ball team, but it's our reality.
All right, down at the bottom of the table.
Hold on one second. I have good Milan news I want to give.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
It's a good story.
Okay.
A Milan fan from Punta de Arenas, Chile, traveled 13,000 kilometers to see the Milan match with Genoa, but it was canceled.
Yep.
David Calabria read his story and decided to give him an autograph kit.
Well, good for him.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. That's awesome. Amen.
I had to give you something.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, come on.
But here's the thing for Milan fans. We have a new reality that we're being faced with. And people are going to have to make what we call in corporate America business decisions, which is if you have an idea of what your club should be and you don't live in Milan proper, you're going to have to make some choices. Do you want to stay a Milan fan? I'm a firm believer that if you supported them when they were winning championships, then you better support them when they're in the doldrums. But the difference is you're talking about a switch in philosophy.
Yeah.
Fundamental philosophy.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, and you're not talking about winning with flair and style and being this a flossy team that everyone goes, wow, that's Milan. When Milan shows up somewhere outside of Istanbul, you're like, that's Milan. We got to take them seriously. And now it's, hey, we have a bunch of guys showing up outside the stadium with sledgehammers. What do you want us to do with them? Let them on the field and play. I mean, that's what you're getting. You're just getting, let's throw the kitchen sink every game and see what works. And I'm not a big fan of that. They're not a club that should be. Imagine the Yankees going Moneyball.
Yeah, that wouldn't fit.
No, it's not them. It's not the Yankees. The Yankees would cease being the Yankees if they stopped being the evil empire and went to Moneyball. And this is the same thing. It's the Yankees being Moneyball if you put Milan with the Red Bull system. And I don't think it's going to take in Italy anyway. I think Milan fans will revolt.
Yeah, from what I know, and I haven't been as embedded in the Italian football as you, but it seems like when somebody brings a different style, something different, it is heavily pushed back against for a long time.
Dependent upon the culture. So I'll use Giampaolo for example.
Yeah, if you're a smaller club, okay, I can see where you'll take some chances there.
Yeah,
sure.
If you're a smaller club, you have almost complete license. It's almost like Urban Meyer at Bowling Green when he brought out the spread option. People at Bowling Green are like, cool,
whatever,
let's ride, baby. But whenever you talked about bringing the spread option to Florida, there were large sections of that fan base who were like, that's not going to work in the SEC. But it worked out pretty well for you. But in Italy, you don't get that kind of time nor chance.
Yeah.
You show up, you lose 2 or 3 games, it's out. So if, let's say Ralph shows up, right, and he strings off two losses out of 3. That fan base is going to riot. The Curva Sud is going to go nuts. And if you're Elliott, I understand that the idea is to try to be as profitable as quickly as possible, and I understand that's Gazidis, because Gazidis did the same crap at Arsenal.
Yeah.
What happened at Arsenal has been happening at Milan for so long that you're already toward the tail end of where you were with where everyone at Arsenal was ready to go nuclear, and airplanes flying over and all that. You're already there with Milan. Gazidis doesn't have that kind of time because nobody has faith in Gazidis to get the job done. Especially if you bring in a Red Bull system. They've seen
I just don't see it.
And I've got to do it because it's the most. It's system-wise, it's polar opposite, but this is what's going to be used in Italy. They will drag out Frank de Boer's name and say, we tried bringing the Dutch stuff. They tried the Dutch stuff at Inter. You saw what happened.
Right.
It's not going to work. And now they're bringing this German system to Milan. That's not going to work. And so it's going to be the same thing that's going to get tried out. I don't wish them luck, but I just acknowledge the situation's happening.
5 points separating 6 through 10 right now. Napoli, AC Milan, Verona, Parma, and Bologna 39-34. But before we go, there's the other gaggle down toward the bottom where 7 points separate 12 and the last relegation spot. Lecce got hot recently, ripping off 3 wins in a row to get north of the relegation bar. They're at 25 points, and now it's Genoa, Brescia, and Spal.
Yeah, Spal's done. When the Joseph Martinez injury happened, I threw out Balotelli's name. And I know people went nuts.
Now, some people run with it.
Some people run with it. But, I mean, look.
I got a better one for you in a minute.
Brescia is someone who that's a team that they will let Mario walk on a free, get him out. And if you're looking for a short-term rental, you could do worse. You could do worse than Mario. That's all I'm saying. You would obviously have maybe some quarantine issues to deal with. You'd have visa issues to deal with. However, he's out there. I think you could probably get him in for a decent, if you pitch it to him the right way. Hey, look, we will expose you to the U.S. market. You won't continue with Atlanta after this season. However, we can send you to New York. We can send you to Los Angeles. We can send you to Miami.
I hear those helicopters again.
Hey, that would be my pitch. If I'm looking for a short-term rental player who believes, rightly or wrongly, that they have a future in playing, I'm going to try to pitch, hey, look, you come here and we will then send you to wherever you would like to go in the U.S.
It's a good idea, but the personality doesn't fit the club.
No, not at all.
So that's why it wouldn't work. A lot of people are all on board with the Hontelar idea. I just don't know if Ajax Ajax is in a position to be able to give him up because they're level on points at the top of the Eredivisie, and he's their main guy off the bench. He's not starting a ton of games, but he's their main attacking option off the bench. I don't know if they can risk it.
No, look, he's got 17 games in this season this year, scored 9 goals.
I mean, that's great. I think it's 17 games. It's not a ton of starts.
No, it's not a ton of starts, and
that's the issue.
But when we talk about a player that you're going to be bringing in, there are a series of things we have to hit because it is MLS.
6 starts.
Even if you have 6 starts, that's probably more starts than you would want if you're trying to poach Huntelaar away and get him with ease. I get that Van der Sar and Frank de Boer are great buddies. Frank could probably make a phone call right now from his phone. Like, pick up his phone, scroll through the roller, like, oh, they're, okay, Edwin, yo, Frank, what's happening? Yeah. Hey, we're kind of in a pinch here. You think you could send the Hunter over for a little bit? No, not really. I'm not making that move if I'm lying.
You can't. I mean, you look at their goal scoring this year. 1, they're not scoring a ton of goals. And 2, he's their second leading scorer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you let him go, like it's been Promise and Tadic as your 2 main attackers. They got 20 goals between the 2 of them.
Right.
Huntelaar's got 9 more. After that, it starts to drop off fast. Your next attacker's got 6 off the bench, 12 appearances, David Neres, and then you're going to a 19-year-old past that.
No.
I just don't think they can do it. And that's, like, when you get into this whole Joseph Martinez replacement thing, you can throw out a bunch of names, and that's great. And you can throw out names that fit, they're older players, you'll be coming here for a year, you can make the price work. All that's good. You got to look at where they are and the willingness for that club to let them go.
Right.
And there's some situations that just don't make sense. And this would be one to me. I think he's a great fit. I think if you could do it, it'd be a great get. But I just don't see it working on the Ajax side of it.
No, and if you can make it, if you can last with Adam John until summer, maybe you can make it work because he's at
a lot of games until that summer window opens. That's the problem.
Exactly, and
I think you got to go do something. And if you don't go big, if you don't go Huntelaar, if you don't go somewhere else, you got to at least go get some depth with somebody who can give you an additional element up top. If you decide, all right, we're going to go with Adam John, we're going to go with the false 9 variant, with Pitti at times, okay, we can make all that work. You still need one more player for depth, and you can do that. I mean, you can go look at USL Championship, you can go look at benches around the league. I think there's ways to do that, but the decision, and this is where it's really difficult, is you've got a CONCACAF Champions League series coming up. You're not going to get anybody in from outside the league that could help you in Mexico City.
Right.
If you want somebody that can help you there, you got to make a trade, and you got to make it like really quickly.
Which means
to get it done.
You cannot have any sort of issues with a quarantine if you're getting a player from China.
No, it's got to be within the league.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting anybody from outside the league in 10 days.
No.
It's not happening.
And for those who would like to demand evidence, just look at the Josetu issues, right?
I think the minimum on the visas has been like 14 days.
Yeah. So if you need to be competitive immediately. You need to have a player who can come in and fit that. I think Danny Hosen from San Jose, if you can work that out.
It'd be a good one if you can do it. I mean, you're going to have to give up a decent chunk of change and maybe a player to pull it. But you might be able to make that work.
I think he played at Ajax. He's somebody who you could get now. You wouldn't have to worry about visa issues. You wouldn't have to worry about quarantine issues. You could get him now, and what it would allow you to do is slot a player up there who is ready from day one to walk in with knowledge of that system. When Frank says, hey, do X, Y, and Z, he already knows why. Not just to go do X, Y, and Z, but he knows why we're doing that. And to me, that's just as important as being able to get a player who can come through and, from a physical standpoint, you know what you're looking for. Oh, we need player X because he's strong and fast. Or we need player Why? Because he's succeeded in this particular league or that league. Going to Europe is not an option. If Champions League is still something you want to compete in, you've got to fill that void now. Like this week.
And to your point, it's like, okay, so he knows X. Get somebody who knows X. Get somebody who knows Y. Danny Houston knows X, Y, and Z. There is no one or the other. He knows where Frank's coming from.
Exactly. And that is, if I'm San Jose, that's factoring into my negotiation process. I know full well that there are a number of players in this league who can walk into Atlanta United's starting lineup and immediately have an effect. That's a slim list of
That's
names.
what listeners were wondering about this morning is the cost that San Jose possibly could enter into this be a part of the discussion as to the why or the why not.
Oh, duh. I mean, welcome to negotiation 101. San Jose's going to say, you're a little desperate there, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, what
We want $5 million in allocation money.
Right.
No, we're not going to give you that.
No.
All right, let's get real.
All right, so I'm going to start around 500 in allocation money and maybe a player. And that's going to be my starting bid if I'm San Jose. And then obviously Atlanta's going to work you down from that, but I'm starting 500 in the player.
And that's reasonable for a guy who's produced like Houston. I mean, it's definitely reasonable. It's going to be tricky, and I'm sure the phones have been buzzing quite a bit up in Marietta because they have to be, because you have to explore all the possibilities. One possibility I don't think they've explored that we have to talk about, because he set a record over the weekend. Adebayo Akinfenwa.
Okay.
Remember that name?
The Beast.
Yeah.
The Beast.
Is he still with Wickham?
He did. He scored his 54th Football League goal for Wickham, which is a new club record. So Akinfenwa's 37. He's a big boy. He would be quite the wrecking ball up top in Major League Soccer.
About 260.
Yeah. 37 years old. He's played 32 matches this season, started 20. He's got 10 goals. In his time with Wickham, since he joined them in 2016, the man has a lot of goals, actually. He's got 54. I mean, 54 goals at 33 and up. That's pretty impressive.
Guys,
Forever and ever and ever will be revered in the annals of my boys at AFC Wimbledon for hitting the penalty that got them promoted to League One.
I mean, okay, I don't think Nick knows the Beast. We're gonna
show some pictures.
We're gonna show him a little video of the Beast. Actually, after there's a really bad commercial.
Katie Weaver has a legitimate question, but we'll save it.
That's a big boy.
that is
And they're sponsored by an ice cream company.
Yes, ice cream company on the front of the kit.
This guy's built like a fullback.
He's good in the air.
Defensive tackle. He's bigger than that.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at the man. Look at him. He stands out everywhere.
He's a truck.
Oh,
and he wears medium kits on purpose.
Yeah, well, that's just because they make him that way.
I mean, this guy would own Atlanta. He would own Atlanta. Oh, he did the people's elbow?
People's elbow goal
Yes!
celebration.
Oh my God,
Well,
Darren.
and there was
Darren.
a couple of years ago, I will say this, a couple of years ago, Rob Stone on MLS on Fox tried to make a point to get the Beast to MLS a couple of years ago.
No, I think, if I remember right, in the very early days of Atlanta and Dirty South Soccer, there was a campaign to get the Beast to Atlanta. I believe he tweeted about it at one point. He's a large man.
Oh, yes.
I mean, can you imagine? You're walking into Red Bull Arena, and that dude comes walking out. How are you going to play physical against him? Like, okay, boys, you know what to do. That's a kamikaze mission. I'm not having
this
that.
is a load of bunk and a half.
Oh, Beast.
Wikipedia has him listed at 225.
He ain't 225.
No.
He's 225 plus another 25.
He's seen 225 a long time ago.
That's rearview mirror.
Wow, what a monster.
That's a big boy.
Okay.
He's agile too. Oh, look at that goal.
I can defend one. Seriously.
Get him, Darren.
1.1
I know you're
million
listening,
followers
Darren.
on Instagram.
Yeah, he would be all over the social media.
I know you're listening, Darren. Let's make this happen.
The Beast to the ATL.
I will pick this man up at the airport.
Is your car big enough?
I was gonna say,
No, I will get a rental.
the car would end up going side. It'd be like
Yes.
the Flintstones when they get the Brontosaurus ribs.
Yes, exactly.
It was leaned to the
The
side.
whole car tips over.
Oh my goodness.
You want Katie Weaver's question now?
What is Katie's question?
Has anyone floated Nicholas Bentner as the
I
hashtag
knew it was
Joseph
coming.
replacement?
I knew it was
Yeah.
coming. I knew that Katie would not let us down.
Mondays
She's
with
all
Bentner.
about the Nicholas Bentner updates. I have not heard any updates from our Danish friend about move to Atlanta. I'm going to go with Akinfenwa instead.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Look, if we can make this happen, Nicholas Bentner is not going to. I don't think he's coming because remember he was laughed at in Vietnam. He's in the process of trying to get his Tastemaker TV show happening.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have any updates
As
on
of,
the boy.
as of late January, it was still starring in the reality show. Bentner and Feline.
We got more.
Bentner and Feline on D-Play.
Let's see. If,
Denmark's answer to the Beckhams.
yeah, something
Denmark's
like that.
answer to the
This was
Beckhams.
the press release for their reality show.
Bentner, okay, this is a headline somewhere. I don't know what language it was in. Bentner surprised world star backstage. Everyone was in shock.
Everyone.
So rapper Stormzy,
Never heard of him.
shockingly, John says that. So Bentner showed up backstage, and everybody went nuts.
Wow.
Because it's Nicholas Bentner. Lord Bentner back. What is he wearing, by the way?
Wow,
Is
that's
that
like
shiny?
no.
No.
It looks like a little kid stole his dad's golf caddy jacket.
Yes.
It looks like a 3-year-old stole his dad's golf caddy jacket, full size, and wore that. I don't know who designed it, but I believe that they should be locked away for terroristic images.
Oh man! So the concert was in Copenhagen, and this is the quote from somebody talking about it.
Oh,
Some
there you go.
big-time important person. Stormzy just looked up in the air every half minute and looked like someone who had almost forgotten he had just performed in the Royal Arena. And then he kept saying, "Man like Bentner," which is such a term they use. I guess.
Hashtag man like Bentner.
That happens every time I go back to Paulding County.
No.
Every time I go back to Paulding County, I'm like, wow, there's Nick.
Man like Nick.
Men like Nick. That's what
No.
they say in Paulding County. I'm just letting you know. David Benson can confirm this.
No.
It happens. Just
No.
letting
Both
you know.
Feline and I are used to being in the media spotlight. Many stories are written about us, and we often find that only half the truth emerges. In my book, I talk about the ups and downs that have shaped my life and career so far, and this series is a natural continuation of that tale.
I think we had that one. I'm waiting for the series to come out because the Nicholas Bentner news section has been kind of slim pickings.
It's disappointing.
I think that's what, because obviously a Renaissance artist such as Mr. Bentner, when he puts his tremendous God-given talents on display, I just think that people are in such shock they don't even know, like, wow, I can't believe I forgot to report this latest breaking detail with Bentner. It's just amazing. Just stay in Denmark, buddy. Stay in Denmark.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
No,
when
we're not
you
getting
go on news now, and you do a Nicholas Bentner search, it's sad. Sorry, there are currently no headlines for this topic.
Yeah. No. Bentner is not. I will veto. I will call Darren up. I'm going to say, Darren, me and you've been buddies for what? 5-6 years now?
5, 6,
I'm just
7.
letting you know, Bentner's not happening. He's gonna
We
say,
do
"Sure,
have an
no."
update.
What? Uh-oh.
The East Anglian Daily Times
Ooh.
Okay.
headline: Lambert says signing free agent strikers is a dangerous game. Looking at the list of those currently available proves his point. So this was from February 26th. Ipswich Town are in the midst of a striker shortage. James
Yes.
Norwood out for more than a month. Caden Jackson suspended for 3 games after he got a red card. That just leaves Will Keane and Freddie Sears, who is not at full fitness, as somewhat fit, I guess. If he's not at full fitness, he's not fit. So
No.
that's some interesting writing. The list of current free agents, and this is actually kind of important on the Atlanta side too, if you're looking at it. Victor Anichebe, the former Everton striker, who was in China, 31 years old.
Oh, Nietzsche. Yeah.
Sorry, spent much of the preseason training with Doncaster. Turned down multiple contract offers. Okay. Niall Ranger, former Newcastle striker. Good spells in League One with Swindon and Southend. Okay. Also, he was last at Southend, but departed in January of 2018 after numerous timekeeping issues, having also spent 10 weeks in prison during his time with the Shrimpers after committing online bank fraud.
Okay.
Yeah, gonna stay away from that one.
Yeah, that's not good.
They did get into Nicholas Bentner.
See, Ipswich, Kate Ryan, CNN, friend of the network, needs to hear about this.
Yeah, they just said that he's a free agent. That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a free agent. That's all we're going to say.
Yeah, we're not even going to get into it. One other player, but I think he has signed somewhere, and he was an MLS player who, I'll have to go see where he signed. I think it was in the Middle East. Christian Nemeth, who was a free agent recently, but I think he signed over the weekend somewhere.
Okay.
So, yeah, no Nicholas Bentner to Atlanta, but if we want to bring the Beast, I'm down with it.
Yeah, the Beast is always welcome.
You're going to have to send Wickham some money. I don't know how much.
Enough to keep the ice cream cold?
You could probably just give them a better sponsor on the front of the shirt. They might be
That's
happy.
one of the best sponsors.
I'm sure A&B can make something happen.
Yeah, I think we can do that. You put Home Depot on the front of the shirt.
Yeah.
That could work.
You can put Home Depot on the front of the shirt. You can put A&B on the front of the shirt. Like, just go to my look. We'll let you put the Mercedes logo on your.
So that's how you get
shirt.
around the transfer fee
That's it.
and the salary cap issues. Yes, you do all that. It's just they're going to let him go on a free. He broke the club record.
Yep.
He's all good.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know where Wickham stands in any tables that
I think
matter.
they're at the top.
And 2 days later, they get Mercedes or Home Depot on the front of their kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That's
they're
right.
at the top of League Two.
Look, we find.
So they're good. They'll move up. So they're good. They get taken care of. No, they're not at the top of League Two. They are in fourth.
Okay. They were.
They might not want to give up the Beast.
He's got to go. Sorry. You must release the Beast.
Come on. Come on,
Unleash
Wickham.
the Kraken.
We need the Beast to ATL.
Oh, but also Cherry Red Records is also a sponsor of Wickham.
Not on the front of the shirt.
I need. Yeah, that's how we do it. We call Uncle Arthur up, and we just say, look, let's find a way to get some jersey sponsors happening here, and
That could work.
saying.
And we know at this point that Daniel Sturridge is not happening. I think everybody's caught up on this.
Yeah, that's.
But Daniel Sturridge is right now suspended from all football-related activities until the summer. Fined a whole lot of money. What was it exactly that went down?
Basically, it was the inside information over a bet regarding a possible transfer to Sevilla that he provided his brother.
He didn't go to Sevilla, right? So I guess there was a line on that,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, bro, I'm not going.
Yeah, so that
And
way.
his brother went and bet the house on it.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. But fined $190,000, the equivalent.
That's what gets him suspended.
Dude, you got it. Okay,
That
first
is
of all,
ridiculous.
to Brother Sturridge, you've got to have your buddy make that bet.
Yeah, come on, man.
You can't be the one to play.
Yeah, you can't be caught on security cameras sitting there going, I'm gonna put $10,000 on Daniel Sturridge not going to Sevilla.
Yeah, it's like, no, I don't talk to him.
I don't know. We never discussed.
I don't know
this
who
kind
that
of
guy
business.
is.
Handed a 2-week ban last July, and the English FA thought the punishment by an independent regulatory commission was too lenient and appealed. Hence why Sturridge is now banned until June 17th.
He pulled the appeal thing, and it was deemed to be frivolous, so they double punished
And
him.
it's like, bam.
Man,
Well,
you gotta be kidding me with these people.
And here's the thing. He gets released by Trabzonspor. 90 minutes later, the ban comes down.
Trabzonspor knew what was going on.
Bam!
They knew. Somebody called him up and said, "Hey, you may really want to get rid of this guy right now."
Yeah, just let him go. Just say no.
Worldwide ban by FA. They doubled the fine to $150,000.
See, that's great. They're like, oh, you want to appeal this, really? Really? Like, it's your brother placing the bet. You want to appeal? Are you sure you want to appeal? Are you absolutely sure?
The appeal board agreed
Sign
with
right
the FA that the penalty originally imposed on Mr. Sturridge was unduly lenient and therefore increased his effective playing ban from 2 weeks to 4 months.
That's awesome.
Genius maneuver.
I love it.
Guys, letting you know, Katie is now Team Beast.
Okay. Did you check out the videos?
She said, just perused Instagram and I'm hashtag Team Akinfenwa. Wow, that guy is strong.
He's a big man.
He's not 220 pounds as listed by Wikipedia.
Nah, those days are long gone. I mean, I just love that on Twitter he is the real Akinfenwa.
The real Akinfenwa, as opposed to an artificial Akinfenwa.
Beast mode.
Yes. Could you imagine? I think actually this did happen. At the height of his recent popularity, there was a meeting with Marshawn Lynch.
Well, of course.
There we
I
go.
think I remember that.
And as I said on Twitter today, to quote the great Marshawn Lynch, protect your mentals, protect your chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lose your access to the bag because someone got you mad on the internet.
No, you don't want to do that. You never want to do that.
And then Daniel Sturridge went on his social media and posted a video convention about the band.
Just,
No dog.
I'm gonna give a bit of advice here.
Stop.
For anyone who is dealing with a difficult situation, like a job loss or a divorce or a breakup, don't talk, just walk. That's it. Don't make any kind of crazy, wild statements. Don't do anything that's going to get yourself in trouble even more with authority figures. Don't talk, just walk. I promise you it will save you so much time, money, and energy, and people will have far more respect for you if you know when to gracefully walk away. Mr. Sturridge, walk away.
Back away from
Yeah, do
social
that.
media, sir.
But here's one thing about our boy Akinfenwa.
Huh?
He was here
Wait, what?
for the Super Bowl. He knows the
We
venue.
let him leave town?
He knows the A-Town.
Magic City.
He might know that. I don't know for sure.
A-Town down, Akinfenwa.
Don't do that, Billy, ever again. Don't do that ever again.
Yes.
No.
John forever.
No.
John
Don't
forever.
ever do that again.
John forever.
Could you imagine A-Town down with Akinfenwa?
Don't do that again either. I don't know what that was.
Beast.
Ay, Dios
Beast
mío.
mode.
I don't know if you have to
Hey,
listen
calm
to
down.
that big man.
Yeah, no, you don't.
What
You don't
a
at all.
monster.
I think we need to send the Beast to SDH scarf.
Can we do that? Can we start the recruiting process?
Sure. I don't think there's any. Well, no. Yeah. I'm trying to think if Wickham wanted to get us
As
that.
reaching out across
You
the
can't
Atlantic.
send
Yeah,
I could send it.
I don't want to. You have to be doing. I don't want to pull a Sturridge's brother type of move here.
No. You cannot pull. Here's the thing. I will purchase a scarf.
You're gonna have to show receipts.
I will purchase a scarf as a non-salaried individual.
What about
Yeah.
the boss? The boss could do
The
it.
boss could do it. Yeah. The boss could do it. That's right. Yeah.
Jackie Fresh could do it.
Jackie Fresh or the boss can purchase the scarf
All right.
and
Make
send
sure.
it to Beast Mode. Beast Mode, and let we'll start the recruiting process.
Okay.
We'll start it. We'll get Akinfenwa here.
You're taking the hand of friendship.
No,
Yes.
don't pull a Sturridge's brother, John.
No. John is 100% correct. We are merely expressing our gratitude and our respect
For what the Beast does.
for what the Beast does. For what the Beast has brought us on this fine rainy evening, bringing us joy on the YouTubes by availing us to his content. Good, we can do this, John. Make this happen.
He has his own
And a hat.
clothing.
We gotta get a hat too.
He has his own clothing line.
Yeah. Just let him know. Look, you have a community in Atlanta that just thinks you're amazing. Nothing else. Just thinks you're amazing. Just wanted to throw that out there. Is anyone else doing that?
No.
Red Bull's doing that? No.
I mean, when you're out of bio,
I don't think he can play the pressing system at all. That'd be kind of scary.
Exactly.
No,
So
but what you
we're
do is
narrowing his choices
you bring
now.
him in late. You bring him in, say 70 or 75th. Is that extra person up top when you want to go
That's
through
right.
strike?
No. I'm saying Nick said Red Bulls bring him in.
That's what I'm saying.
He wouldn't handle the pressing system.
Yeah, of course not. That's the
Beast
thing.
don't press.
Is it,
Come on now.
is it we're letting him know that there are certain teams where, hey Beast, we need you to go completely annihilate that low block. Can you do that for us?
Beast mode.
That's awesome.
It can happen.
All right, John. What happened with Liverpool?
Well, let's see.
I was hoping Sakeem might show up so I could point
Not
laugh,
his
but
No, but
he knew.
First and foremost, Nathan Pugh, who is hands up, no red, it says we're going to win the league. That is all.
The hands up, no red is a reference to Atlanta United's match. Yes, Nathan Pugh, you're going to win the league. That's already done.
We did hear about the
They're going to win the league. Stop the nonsense. Don't be an absolute hater.
No.
That's a hater.
No.
Yes.
So the bylaw that came out from news overseas that said if the season is canceled,
Oh, man.
then Liverpool will not be awarded the championship.
Oh, man. That was OSG Nelson, by the way, for your Liverpool fans out there.
I'm just saying that this was a story that
John's
I saw
reporting
come
facts.
across.
He's reporting
It was
facts.
a story that came out in
Important
the news.
FAX.
You don't think that Man City, who had that great video where they walked out 47 lawyers,
Speaking of bylaws.
that you don't think they would be like, well, according to bylaw subsection 3, heading number 4, that clearly it states that if your league is canceled, you don't think some Man City lawyer would not trot themselves right up to the Premier League headquarters and drop that bit of paperwork?
Of course.
Oh man, that would be like it would be the Montreal Screwjob all over again. Wrestling reference. It would be one of those things where it would be such an out of left field move that you would have no choice but just to completely go nuclear. They're going to win the league.
No, they're going to win the league. They're going to win the league. Look, I mean, the whole coronavirus thing is a whole other section of uncharted territory here with competitions and public events and all of that. But it sounds like they're going to be okay. It sounds like they're not going to cancel a whole bunch of games and so on and so forth.
Yeah. But according to the Daily Mail, and this came out 2 hours ago, that the FA and the Premier League could ban fans from attending games and play matches behind closed doors to prevent a mass
They would go UEFA on it because of the TV side.
Yeah.
They would absolutely get the games played and go closed door because of the TV side. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So don't even entertain bylaw 7.B.64 and point something out like that. It's not going to happen.
Matt Hughes for the Daily Mail. The FA and the Premier League are exploring the costs and implications of staging games behind closed doors later this season to cope with any mass spread of coronavirus. Both organizations will be led by the government's public health advice before making any alterations to the fixture list, but it held talks about what to do if large gatherings are prohibited with behind closed door games emerging as a possibility.
Hey.
They will play in closed doors before they cough up a whole season.
Yeah, for sure.
You will have to have multiple teams near the top having in locker room outbreaks to have them shutter the league.
So I want to make sure I know what's going on here. So the Coppa Italia match, Juve Milan.
Yep.
Is it behind closed doors or it's limited to certain folks?
It is limited only to people from Turin or the Piedmont. If you are when you're buying tickets, you have to state which region you are coming from.
Got it.
And if you put on your application that you are from the Lombardy region, you are not going to be allowed in the stadium. And they are checking IDs. They are not refunding tickets. So you have to find a buyer rather than show up. So this is a situation that, like we were talking about earlier, where it's very odd that they're allowing this to happen. So, I mean,
That's a weird in between.
Typically, this happens. You have threats of this happening, like
right.
where Juve plays Napoli. And Napoli will say, we're banning everyone from the Piedmont region from buying tickets for safety concerns, because the fan bases are wacky. And typically teams do this when they want to snipe another team.
Right.
This is, if you thought Ultra Chants were bad before, just buckle up.
Yeah.
They are still using cholera outbreaks in Naples from God knows when. and Ultra fans
BC
today.
and BU fans do the food poisoning thing. They still do that at the beer
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on, though. But
No, they do,
that's a
they
whole
do.
different.
They still
That's
do that.
not even.
They still do that.
Yeah,
I've
that's-
witnessed such things.
But no, to answer your question, going back to the original point, it was a shock. 44-match undefeated run in the top flight, and it prevented Liverpool from setting a new record for 19 successive wins. A lot of folks were completely, totally stunned by this. I was one of them, and Jurgen Klopp had his press conference availability after the match today. He said, no point in ranting and raving at the players just to make himself feel better after they lost at Watford. And what he did instead is he just laid it all out for them of where things went wrong after rewatching the match. And he still says publicly, as should we all, appreciate what Liverpool has done this season, and then also going back the last 44 matches. Here's the money quote. He says, "It can happen that I get angry with the players, but I didn't get angry with the players in this meeting. From a common sense point of view, if I go in that meeting and shout at them like they've lost the last 10 games in a row because of a bad attitude, that would be really strange. I'm not interested in that after the meeting, and I feel better. I'm interested in the boys getting the right information, and it can be more emotional. I would not say angry or less emotional." He says he'd be an idiot to lose faith in the guys after something like that.
So they go to Chelsea tomorrow, 5th round FA Cup. They host Bournemouth on the weekend. Then the big one, they host Atleti next Wednesday. Atleti's going to bring every bus they can find
Everyone,
and park them
as they should.
and crash a helicopter into it and maybe somehow bring a submarine into play. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
That's going to be a fun one to watch.
I don't know if it's going to be fun. That might not be the word.
Just for the subplot involved, how we see Atletico Madrid attacking this particular match. I want to see how Simeone.
Well, we know how he's going to approach it. There's no question how he's
But
going to
then,
approach it.
and then at the same time, I want to see how Liverpool attacks, having tipped over buses that are on fire with tires slashed and that are immovable, with the helicopter that has crashed into the same location.
It's simple. It's just down to quality. There's no questions about what's going to happen in this one. Atleti's going to sit back and try to hit on the counter. Liverpool's going to throw everything forward, and it's just, do they have enough quality to break through? It's honestly going to be that, because I don't think Simeone has really any surprises up his sleeve. I don't know if there's anything he can pull here in terms of, like a high press early. I mean, they're gonna sit back. They're gonna sit back and counter. It's what they do. It's what they've always done. They're not gonna get away from it now. And Liverpool's just got to break down a low block. That's just what it's going to come down to. And what's interesting to look at in terms of that, like the league's done, don't worry about it. The FA Cup, let's say they lose to Chelsea. Let's say they get knocked out. The knives are going to be out in a big way in England. Do they lose confidence? Do they get shaken up a little bit if they lose back-to-back games? That's my question if it happens.
I mean, because they have lost 2 of their last 3 in all competition.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's a valid question when it comes to the Watford game, because they did not look locked in.
No.
They looked kind of distracted. Is it starting to get to them a little bit?
I think it has to, right? I mean, if you're a Liverpool fan, you have to look at this and say, almost like there was the kid from the League of Their Own, like, you're gonna lose to everyone else. But the problem is that puts that puts weight and expectations on your team, and at some point, I don't care how much of a professional you are, you have to. Whether you're in the training room or whether you are at home, it has to hit you. We might just be the first Liverpool team that's going to do this. Unless. And that one magical word, right? It pops into your head. It can shake you up a little bit.
Well, here's what Klopp says. He says, well, he's playing the team that will give us the best opportunity to get to the next rounds for different reasons. It won't be the team that played Aston Villa and Shrewsbury for sure. There'll be boys in the squad, but if they start, we will see. The team that played Shrewsbury was an FA Cup team at that moment. We want to go through. That is the plan. Hopefully that is what everyone will see. It's not about loyalty.
They're going to have to, obviously they're going to have to find a win between Bournemouth and, between Chelsea and Bournemouth, but they're going to have to string something together here. I can't believe I'm even saying that because it's comical how far they are ahead of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
The Champions League still counts.
Yeah.
And you're still going to have to find some way of making this work. Now,
if they crash out in the 5th round of the FA Cup and round of 16 of Champions League, it doesn't diminish them winning the title for the first time, but people are going to be pointing that out in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. But if I'm Liverpool, obviously I want to go. I don't care about the FA Cup. If we go out, we go out. I really want to win Champions League, and I really want to win the Premier League. If we can make those happen. Something that helps is that Atleti's going to be playing Sevilla on the 7th. They're ranked 3rd in the table. That's going to be a much harder game, theoretically, than Bournemouth will be for Liverpool.
Yeah.
So if you're going to rest players, you can cough up some points and you're going to be okay. And that's not a joke. There's no slip joke coming in behind that. There's no nothing. If you're going to rest players, now's the time. Get them, everyone well rested and ready, so that way you can be at full strength versus Atletico Madrid, because they will park every bus. They will call out the water boy to throw stuff on the field.
Yep.
They're going to instruct, the voodoo priestesses and whatnot. Anything that can be done to slow the game down, they're going to do it.
Does Liverpool have voodoo priestesses?
Klopp will find them.
They will find
Nathan Pugh knows where they are, I'm sure.
I'm sure PPP knows right where they are.
I don't know if Klopp's down with voodoo priestesses.
No, I'm just saying he knows where they are if he ever wants to go down there.
I don't think he does. That's very anti-Klopp. That seems like the opposite of the
It's uncloppian.
Klopp German way.
Because basically, here's your questions. Allison or Adriana Ned? You do Lovren and Matip at center back. Lallana in front of the defense in midfield.
No, I think we're overthinking it here. I mean, it's Liverpool goes for FA Cup tomorrow. They play everybody who's available. They rest players against Bournemouth, and then they go into Champions League. Yep. So, you're going to have essentially like a week between games. You're good.
They can't say, hey, guys, we're going to mail it in against Bournemouth. Obviously.
Hey, guys, we don't really care about those stupid cherries, and we're going to play like the U23s since they're our kings of the cup anyway, so screw you guys.
Yeah.
Just say it.
Just say it.
Just say it. Just come out and grin your grin and say your things and make your crazy hand signals and do it.
And that's the thing, is that I think that it's a full-strength lineup for the FA Cup. I think it's a full-strength lineup against Atleti. I can't wait to see what the lineup's going to look like against Bournemouth.
Who cares? So they lose to Bournemouth.
I know, because Bournemouth right now is in a relegation scrap. And
bring those U23 kids.
Yeah, but Critch won't be coaching them anymore.
Critch isn't going to have anything to do with it. Just bring those kids up. They got you to the FA Cup thing.
Might as well.
Let them play. You're not going to play them in the FA Cup.
You're going to get your hand slapped by the Prem. Or not the Prem, but
low management.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You will get your hand slapped, but who cares?
We have to sit these guys because of load management.
Yeah. How many times does that happen in the NBA with stars? A lot.
All the time. But if barring an asteroid hitting the planet, Liverpool's going to win the league. You're not going to be known as the Invincibles now.
And you're so far ahead of everyone else that
Yes.
you can take these kinds of opportunities and throw your full weight behind them.
Right. And the bettors can just deal with it. The bettors.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Oh, that's going to be a fun juice box number.
Yes, they can find something to complain about if they want to. However, rest your players, send out the U23 side. Coach, no coach, who cares?
All right, so looking ahead to the upcoming weekend in Major League Soccer, the New England Revolution will be having their home opener this weekend. They're coming off of a loss in Montreal. Montreal had to play in the Big O because, it's cold in Montreal. It's not really pleasant at the moment, right?
No.
So New England is hosting Chicago, and this is on Saturday at 1:30 in the afternoon. Well, the early weather reports, 3 to 5 inches of snow Friday night into Saturday morning.
There we go.
Orange Bowl. Bring it.
I love the Orange Bowl.
Break out the new Orange Ball.
Oh my goodness.
Look, you guys,
That's gonna be fun.
if you're one of the Canadian teams, just eat up every advantage you can right now.
Well, Toronto's at home against New York City on Saturday.
There you go.
At 5 o'clock.
That pitch, knowing how chunky it can get with weather.
You might need to play with a shovel in your hand.
Oh.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with this. If you are in when summer rolls around, you don't think Miami's going to be eating up the fact that they're going to be used to the ridiculous heat and humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just saying. If I was a Canadian coach, I would be telling all my players, you better be sunbathing in negative 20-degree temperatures. You better get used to it. This should be like second nature to you by the time we're done. If I send you to a city where the average outside temperature is 55 degrees in the first part of MLS season, you better be sweating.
Okay, well then all right. So here's a separate story involving an MLS team in the Northeast, but it also involves their ownership group, who has teams in other parts of the planet. Do I say this for tomorrow and just tease today, or do I go ahead and say it tonight?
You've already said it.
You've already said it.
Claudio Bravo is considering an offer to join MLS outfit NYCFC when his
Who
contract
wrote that nonsense?
Mark Ogden, ESPN FC.
It's nonsense, I would assume.
When his contract expires this summer, sources have told ESPN. Bravo wants to leave the Etihad at the end of the season in order to secure regular football elsewhere.
How many times have we seen these kinds of reports? There's a guy in goal for New York City FC. I mean, he's been kind of good.
Yeah.
So they're not really in the market for goalkeepers.
So here's the rest of the opening paragraph from Ogden.
Go ahead.
City manager Pep Guardiola is prepared to let Bravo move on in order to promote USA international Zach Steffen following his loan spell this season with German club Fortuna Düsseldorf.
Fine. That doesn't mean he ends up in New York City.
While City are aware of wider interest in Bravo, there are attempts to persuade him to join NYCFC when his time at the Etihad comes to an end.
Well, who's the city
It's
affiliate?
random people saying this, right? Unnamed people.
Unnamed sources to Mark Ogden at
there you go.
ESPN FC as of 2 hours and 18 minutes.
I'm not buying it.
Who's the city affiliate in Australia?
Melbourne.
There you go. Bravo to Melbourne.
Melbourne City.
You heard it here first. I'm calling myself a source.
Or Sean Johnson to Melbourne. That's the only other way it's
That's
coming
the only other
down.
way it's going to happen.
Because when I read this, I'm like, there's a guy who went to Brookwood.
But this is not new. We've seen this every time with things. Like, oh, he's going to go to New York City. Why? MLS is no good. Claudio Bravo. Shut up.
There we go.
I'm over it. I'm over this nonsense.
It's weird to be the guy who's not doing the hot take mic drop moment. Jason, this gets Jason really fired up.
As it should.
I'm tired of this nonsense about like, oh man, MLS. Like I heard it today. This is why I'm riled up.
MLS sucks.
No, this is why I'm riled up about it because I heard the end of the radio broadcast of what was it, Portsmouth and Arsenal, and I guess it was Portsmouth and Arsenal. Who really cares? Sorry, Portsmouth and Arsenal fans, but. What happened, they were talking about Derby and Manchester United coming up and Wayne Rooney and all that stuff. And somebody throws some nonsense in. They ask, well, Wayne Rooney's back at Derby. I didn't know if this would happen. And somebody's like, well, Wayne Rooney's really serious about his football. And he just wasn't getting that in the MLS and in DC. He's at Derby.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Because they're paying him to wear 32 and he's wearing number 32.
No, none of that has anything to do with it. He's at Derby because his wife said, yeah, Wayne, you're coming home. We're not messing around with this anymore.
Well, it's the same. It's like when Big Sam said, well, clearly Italy only plays negative football. Like, have you not watched Atalanta at all over the past 2 years? It's the same thing. They don't pay attention to anything outside of what the preconceived notion is.
Yep.
There's no data point to back them up. They don't read one headline, because if the three of us knuckleheads know that Colleen said, "You're coming home," we are going to England.
Yeah.
We've seen too many pictures.
We leaving. Yeah. You do what you need to do, but we are leaving.
Yeah.
And then he elected to go back to England.
And he got a great opportunity to be a player coach, and all that's wonderful. But when you start the nonsense of, oh, well, serious football, blah, blah, it's freaking Derby. Come on.
Exactly.
And aren't they even mid-table?
I could care less. I'm not
in the
worried
front.
about their results, really. It's just the usual, like, stock, oh, well, no, it's just MLS is no good. And that's why you get a report like that about, well, of course Claudio Bravo would just, waltz in and he would be the guy. And, Sean Johnson, who's been there and done really, really well, and he's in the U.S. national team.
Just give him
He would just be on the bench. It's that arrogant nonsense. That's what it is. And that's why I get irritated about it. And that's why sometimes I go hot takey on it.
By the way, Derby's 13th in the championship. Right there. Whoopity-doo! Right there. 12-12-12. The bastion of consistency.
But they would dominate MLS because they're so much better than everybody. Yeah. Anyway.
Look, at some point, the money around the globe is going to get too wacky, and I get that everyone hates the salary cap, but this league is going to be, the quality is light years ahead of where it was in '96, and it is light years ahead from a fiscal solvency standpoint than it has been at any other point in its history. There are teams that are going bankrupt still in England, in Italy, in Spain,
They will continue to do so.
That will not happen in MLS. They'll just move the team, and some NFL owner will spend $300+ million to bring the team to that city. The money will be there, especially with the new moves that they're making in the collective bargaining agreement, where they have, as far as the transfers for, what's the age group, under 18 or?
Under 22.
Yeah, under 22. Which is fantastic, because now you are clearly signaling to the world, we're going to mine the talent, we're going to develop them, we're going to send them over. And that model works. The older players and the older managers who are not getting on board with this, they're dinosaurs anyway.
It's true.
All right? I know that everyone gets really angry about the fact that, MLS is not the Premier League. Well, you know what? The dinosaurs felt pretty fat and happy as that asteroid was careening toward the Earth. And those little mice that were scampering around suddenly became the big deals on the planet. And
The
just
only
like
people
that,
really enjoying the Premier League season this year are Liverpool.
that's
fans.
it. That's it. Look at the
There's
league.
no race.
Look at the league and
Honestly,
tell me.
for me, looking at the Premier League season, I'm looking at stories like Sheffield United.
Yes.
That to me is one of the most intriguing, enthralling stories of the entire season. Just to see something different other than the Big Six. That's how I'm looking at it. And just for the record, here's the rest of the FA Cup lineup. Tomorrow, it's Chelsea, Liverpool, West Brom, Newcastle, Reading, and Sheffield United, obviously, at Just Talks Footy, IE on Twitter. We'll be keeping an eye on that one with a 2:45 kick. Wednesday, it's Leicester City, Birmingham City, Sheffield Wednesday, Manchester City, Spurs, and Norwich at Michelle Not Allowed. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. And Thursday, it is the Wayne Rooney Derby with Derby and Manchester United.
I get irritated with it because it's such an outdated criticism. And at some point, you're going to realize that if you're smart in some of these clubs, there's talented players that you probably should buy and bring in and not play as an inside forward in an old school system because you don't know any better. And you might want to actually watch their games in this league and realize, hey, I could play them in a position that might actually help my team not get shut out every week.
Well, it's a league that still is convinced that it's okay to spend north of $20 million on Andy Carroll. So
That's true.
I mean,
No MLS team's doing that.
no. And could scream about. I mean, seriously, like that's. Anytime they're like, well, Andy Carroll could go somewhere for about 25, 30. No, what?
Always mentioned on transfer deadline day.
Always.
There's going to be an Andy Carroll mention.
Always. And
consistently.
I mean, and the thing is that if you look across this league in MLS, you have an opportunity. If you make the playoffs, you have a shot. Seattle and Toronto were in the championship game last year. Mm-hmm. You have a shot. There was the 1 year where, what was it? Seattle had like the worst record. At which point in the season? We called them the Zombie Sounders.
Like mid-season.
Yeah. And they got in, right?
Yeah, they fired Siggy Schmidt, and then they went on a tear because they got Nico Ladero, and they won the thing.
Yeah. So you're one step away in this league from winning, unless you're like a couple of the teams that will not be named on this show. That's for a different show, but they're terrible, and they're not going to get any better anytime soon. But you have an opportunity to win this league. Mm-hmm. And if you are Arsenal right now, if you're Everton right now, do you have a shot? No, you're not. Because Liverpool hit warp 9 on everyone and had this thing wrapped up in December. What? Don't talk to me about what an exciting league was.
Although Mikel Arteta says that Arsenal's on the right path after their FA Cup win against Portsmouth.
Oh, great. Thank you.
What path to what? 5th place?
All right.
Yippee. I'm excited. 5th place. Woo! I want that pennant.
I like being able to have an opportunity to compete. And I know that they enjoy the way that they do things, over in Europe. And that's my one thing. If Serie A went to a playoff system, it would be amazing to watch. It would be absolutely amazing to watch.
Yes.
But we're never going to get it, so that's okay.
No.
I'll take MLS, and I love what MLS is doing. And MLS is so reactive now, comparatively speaking to the rest of the leagues.
Not as reactive as Argentina, luckily.
Not as reactive as Argentina. I don't think anyone's as reactive as Argentina is.
They'll have a new format tomorrow morning.
That's correct. Well, yeah, they'll be able to punch the ball randomly throughout the game in Argentina tomorrow.
No, the Copa de la Superliga winner will play the Superliga winner in the Super Bowl.
The Super de la Copa Superliga.
Yes, it'll
exactly.
be awesome.
But, Don Garber, when he came out and said, hey, we're changing the way that we sell players and the way that the money gets distributed, I don't know of any other league in Europe that would be like, hey, we're changing this right now because it's going to help everyone. But
Rabble, no.
Yeah, right. Never.
Rabble.
I mean,
one day.
Yeah, whatever.
Look,
Big
MLS
Sam still thinks teams in Italy are playing catenaccio, so whatever. He's stuffing his face with a Supreme Pizza on deadline day. Who cares what that guy thinks?
Does he have a job yet?
No, well, yeah, the one on deadline day on Sky.
That's it. That's his
job. At a table.
Yeah.
Good job there, Big Sam.
And I guarantee you, he ordered his own pizzas. Nobody ordered it for him. There was no internal order. Somebody said
Jim White brought in like a box, 6 boxes, and
yes.
just kind of put them in. And Sam just wraps his hands around all of the 6 and goes, I don't know what the boys eating.
Morn.
Don't have that shoulder piece of mine.
Oh man! All right, that's enough anger and spitfire.
if the Duchess is at home listening, sorry, Pumpkin. Daddy loves you very much. Daddy is not angry.
I was sorry. I was.
Yeah. So
I get a little defensive about my league because it's my league because it's what we have. It's our league and it's still growing and it's still got work to do.
And when people are close-minded and stupid, they need to be called out on.
Just so everybody knows, the Wookie Chuckles has said, just looking through my closet and you know what striker looked good in red and black? Just saying. Hashtag ATLUTD. It is a Balotelli 45 jersey.
Not happening.
Just throwing that out there.
Come on,
Darren.
It's going to be the Beast. Akinfenwa coming to Atlanta.
It would be so awesome.
It'll happen.
Take something daring. Be daring.
That would be very daring. If he does the people's elbow goal celebration after his first goal, oh my God, people will lose their minds.
If it's the Beast or Balotelli, I will co-sign a European move.
Yes.
I'll co-sign that.
Yes.
Huntlar, we're not getting Huntlar.
I just don't see it. It would be great. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Now I got to figure out what it's going to cost to get a Wickham jersey and get it over here.
There we go. For anyone who, honestly, back to the transfer conversation, it's going to need to be someone in MLS. That's the most likely scenarios. You get someone from inside MLS so you avoid the paperwork and quarantine issues.
Yes.
You have to say quarantine issues because that is a real thing
Yeah.
that will, and it's going to disrupt the transfer season. Coming up as well for the summer window.
Summer window's going to be a mess.
Yeah, but for people who said Huntelaar, yes, I agree. I think Huntelaar would be a perfect fit. However, he's not where Ajax is right now. It's not good for them to let him walk.
I just don't see it. All right,
I'd be shocked.
Nick, as we finish up, you're going to have to do a PSA for your people.
For my people?
Your people in Italy who are subscribers to The Zone in Italy.
Okay.
They can watch with commentary from Alberto Santi.
Ooh.
Defensa y Justicia y Santos.
Yes! I'm going to put the word out to my people. I'm going to let them know that there's a team that they need to keep an eye on.
Yes.
I will let them know this. I will pass it along.
On The Zone Italia.
Zone Italia. Very well.
All right.
I will pass that along.
Vamos, Alberto Santi. Have a good call.
Hey. I want Defensa to crush your enemies, see them driven before you.
And hear the lamentation of the women.
Yes.
All right, so we will talk about that next week. We will talk about Champions League previews in 2 different continents, in CONCACAF and in Europe. We will talk about Liverpool's FA Cup campaign. Is it over? Is it continuing? We'll talk about Wayne Rooney's reunion with Manchester United. And we'll talk about games if they get played in other parts of the world. It's a weird week upcoming.
It is a weird week. But anything else for you guys before we get out of here?
Wickham Wanderers training t-shirt, Sky Navy, $37.50.
John's spending money again.
He is. But, well, like I said, he's trying to, okay, boss is on her way to India.
Ooh.
And so what I have done is hopefully I have timed it to where the India Premier League stuff that I have purchased will make it to the hotel as she is getting to the hotel so she can bring it back.
Wow. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's exceptional.
See, now if she was going to be in Frankfurt for longer than just like 16 hours, I was going to try to see if she could get some Eintracht Frankfurt stuff. But that timing was a little wonky, so I went ahead and went to the next stage of it and went Indian Premier League. And hopefully the timing will have worked to where it's delivered to the hotel and she just brings it back.
I like this. Well done.
That's strategy.
I like it.
And then we will wear it on a future episode.
We will. People have been asking about apparently with the sauce.
Yes.
Martin Scorsese posted. Somebody posted a video of Martin Scorsese's Italian Americans documentary where he interviews his parents, his mom, for a sauce recipe. And apparently, if you watch all the way to the credits, they actually have the sauce recipe listed out.
Yeah.
People have been asking for a Soccer Over There sauce video, so we will endeavor to have
that needs to happen.
Oh, in the kitchen. There you go.
Yeah, we could do Soccer Over There. I don't know, like help you prepare for soccer viewing parties.
Yes, when folks come over to your place for a soccer viewing party, here's
That's
the
right.
Soccer Over There sauce that you need to have with your carb load.
Correct.
That needs to happen.
I think we do.
All right, we're going to finish with this. This is greatness. So, transfermarked_official on Instagram. So they made a post, and in the comments under their post, they say, "What a team!" Probably team of the week or something. Fire emoji. Is Jorge Mendes the best agent? And they've got a bunch of tags underneath. And after that, they said, "We can't tag Ronaldo because he blocked us after he saw his market value."
Wow.
And then somebody asked him, "Why TF did Ronaldo block you?" And transfermarked_official answered and said, "He told us that he is not happy with his market value." Ronaldo blocked Transfermarkt on Instagram because he didn't like his valuation.
Whatever.
That's awesome. That is incredible.
Wow, what a clown.
That is some
Oh,
clown.
please.
Clown
Dude,
shoes.
go eat a plain chicken breast with some triple distilled water from a single aquifer in the Alps.
Switzerland or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
I really hope that's real.
right.
I'm going to believe that it is.
We'll believe that it's real and roll with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to believe that it's real. Hey, a transfer marked employee has said it's sad, so I'll take that as confirmation.
All right. Well, we will leave it there. So
I
we'll
just started following Transfermark on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm going to follow him too.
immediately. We'll have much more next week, and we will have other content coming your way very soon. Jason, what's coming down Jason John, what's coming down the pipe for SDH?
We got the show in the morning. We got high school soccer. Roswell hosting Parkview tomorrow night, weather permitting. I think we'll be okay because it is on turf.
55, I believe, is first pick.
Yeah, hopefully. It's on turf, but hopefully it's not underwater by the time we get to tomorrow.
Campus of Roswell High School.
Show Wednesday, show Thursday, show Friday, and then Friday evening, we've got the first official episode of the run-up, hosted by Kelly Francis and John Nelson, and we will be giving away a pair of tickets to Atlanta and Cincinnati.
Stand by. Free tickets?
Free tickets. You got to be here.
Must be present to win.
Yes.
Must be present to win at the Brewhouse Cafe.
Yes.
And we will be seeing you on Friday here at the Brew.
All right.
The 9,478 television.
I like it all. Wonderful things. Gentlemen, until next time, protect your mentals, protect your chicken, and mucha mucha euro, y'all.
All over the room.